Hey super tubers, welcome back to the channel. It's SPR JDAD here today, and today we have a different type of video. We are going to be building a PC. Now, I'm a beginner for PCs. I had to do some research and hopefully I got all the parts. And for all you extreme PC builders, please don't bash on me in the comments because I don't know that much about PCs, but I try to do my research in advance and I'm trying to make that move so I can create better content for the YouTube channel, different games and stuff like that. So let's get it. But before we get into the build, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that notification bell. That would help us a lot to get where we need to get. I have a few parts right here that we're gonna get to. I'm gonna have the link in the description of every item that I used in this build, and hopefully that can help you guys on your journey to building your PC, because honestly, doing research, it's kind of difficult to look up, and then you try to Google it and it's a lot of information for beginners. So I thought might as well record my experience and hopefully create a video that you can use, and hopefully it's simple enough because I'm new to PCs. So this should be interesting on how it goes, and hopefully you can learn with me on how to do this. Let's get into it. First, I want to go ahead and start with the processor. I did get a Intel 7 core processor, 9700K, 9700K, I don't know, i7. Now this is supposed to be, there's a newer generation than this, the i9. But I was gonna go with a nice i5, and I'm like, you know what? Let's not go too low, and let's just get a nice 7. Now I want to go ahead and get into the motherboard. Boom, which is by GAMEMAX. Now I got this as a bundle. I got it with the processor. The processor and the motherboard in a bundle. So it saved me a little bit of money, and I thought it was a pretty good deal. This is a Gigabyte, and it's Z390. Now for the power supply, the PSU, I don't know, power unit. I went and got myself a GameMax with RGB. It looks pretty good online. Again, I'm not a pro, so hopefully this is enough for what I needed. Now when I did my research, they said you at least need to have an 80 plus bronze. Now this is an 80 plus gold, so it should run a little bit better. It's 8, what is it? How many wattage is this? 750 watts. Next, we have the graphics card. Let's get it. All right. Now, I bought this one originally, and I posted it on TikTok, my pre-build, before I got it. A lot of people are like, yo, that is not the game card you want to go with if you want to play good games. It's not going to load. I did not know that. Again, I was trying to do a budget build, and I did more research on it, and I was like, you know what? This is probably not going to work for what I needed to do. So scratch that. We are not using this one. Instead, I went back online and I got myself a GTX 1650. Now, from what I read, this should be able to run your game smoothly, especially powered up with that i7 processor. It should be able to run your games as smooth as you need them to. And hopefully, I'm right. We're gonna try it out, guys. All right. Now, on this whole build, I spent around 800 bucks, so it wasn't too bad. Now, hopefully that budget build can help all you guys and get it out there. Again, I will put the prices for all these. Now, we need... Now, I did my research, and I was like, I was reading that you need a cooler to cool down the processor. And I unfortunately had skipped that step. But luckily on Amazon, came through, and I got this one for about, I think it was about 30 bucks, 40 bucks. And hopefully it works and it does its job fine. It had good reviews on it. I think the only complaint was that it was kind of tricky to get in there, especially if you already had the PC built. So hopefully it doesn't give me that much trouble. It's a UX100, and let's test it out, man. Let's hope it gives us what we need, you know. Next, you need your RAM, which I got this RAM set. It's called Vengeance. Corsair brand. Again, I don't know too much. It's Intel certified, and it has RGBs. It's 16 gigabytes total. It comes with two 8 gigabytes. So hopefully we get good RGB, good RAM out of it. Now on to the memory or the storage. I want to go ahead and I got this one. It's made by Samsung. Samsung's a pretty credible company. Hopefully they're good into making stuff for PCs. I think this one, I forgot the price, but again, I'll mark it down below. I'll put the price and the link down below. It's 500 gigabytes, 97 EVO. I put all these parts in what's that website, PC parts compatibility or something like that, and you can actually check what's compatible with each part, and hopefully they work. So let's hope they were right. Last but not least, I don't know if it's gonna be able to show up on camera, but I have the case right here. I think that should be fine. It's a MUSETEX 907. I got a white, I feel like it's a pretty standard case from what I read online. It has a top filter, bottom PCV filter, PVC. Hopefully it does what I need it to do, and it comes with cooling fans inside of it, so that's why I was kind of confused. I didn't know if I needed another cooling fan, but I think this one comes with like 4 cooling fans on the front, 3 in the front, like 1 on the top or something like that. So hopefully it's enough for what I needed to do, and hopefully this PC actually works out, and if not, there will be another video of me fixing the problems that I run into. Again, this is trial and error. I'm a beginner. You're probably watching this because you're a beginner. So let's do this journey together, man. Let's go. So we're kind of going to do this as a review as well, and I'm kind of try to review how well things are packaged. Now, as you see, this case comes pretty well packaged. It was in a bigger box from Amazon, so that means that they actually cared about what they were shipping. So yeah, let's go ahead and get it out. All right, so we got it out of the box already. It has a good clean look. You see it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fans in there. Now it's a clear open case, so all the RGB is gonna look nice in there. Right here you have your built-in power, you have USBs, your mic, all the good stuff you need, you know. So this is a pretty big PC, and this is glass, so I'm gonna have to take that off and get up in there. So we just need to, looks like we just need to remove these screws, and this should be homecoming. Usually you want to go corners first, right? So it doesn't just bend or drop some way. So let's give it a go. So now we have it taken off. It comes with a bag here, which looks like it's to connect your motherboard and all that good stuff. The CPU, the power source is gonna go down here. Has a bunch of connectors that look like they run to these connections over here. And this is how it comes packaged. All right, it looks pretty good, pretty nice. It looks like they take their time in their packaging. What did I knock over there? So that's the CPU, gameplay source, the power source, and we have extra cables that should run for what we need. It comes with a good amount of cables, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna need some of those. Here's the big boy. So we got the connections back here, right? We got the main board, which is your motherboard, and it's gonna take this 24-prong cable, and it should connect right here in its main board. So it's pretty well labeled, so you can't really mess up. So go ahead and get that in there. All right, so once you go ahead and you got your cables connected, which is from what I've seen, it's the main board, the CPU, and the PCI. You're gonna need to install it into your case, which it comes with these 4 screws, and you just slide it in right here in place, and you should be able to screw it down pretty simply. Let's hope that's the case. Let's hope that's the case. To install the power supply, you want to go ahead and line it up to these screw holes. Now mine's gonna be upside down again because I have a dust filter pan in the bottom. So I'm gonna face my fan upside down, and I'm gonna go ahead and screw it in to these 4 little holes and get it up. Now what you want to do is go corner first, corner, bottom, top, blah. Or you could go corner, bottom, just go corners first and rotate it. But alright, so it's pretty straightforward, man. Screwdriver, screw, boom, just until it's tight enough. Boom, boom. All right, and that should hold it in place. Mine didn't use these 4, but what I noticed, it had little slots where you can adapt. So this is like an adaptable case, which is pretty nice. Next step, we want to work with the motherboard. Alright, so here's the motherboard. Alright, it looks like it comes pretty nicely packaged. Alright, it looks like there's some stuff down there. It comes with the motherboard manual. Probably need that later. And we have some more cables. Put that aside. We have some screws. Now at first glance, let me get it out of the package so you can see what I'm gonna say next. Hopefully that's enough. You don't want to crack it. Careful. It's a beauty. Look at this. This looks so sick, bro. At first glance, it looks like there's a lot of going on. Hopefully it's not super complicated. I can already see some cables that I kind of recognize. Hopefully we can get this up and running and get this machine going soon. Alright, so right here, this motherboard comes with the protection, it looks like, for the CPU, where you're going to put the CPU in, which I'm not sure if all motherboards come with that, but that's pretty good for this company. It's a pretty good thing. And I'm guessing this is where you're going to put in probably your RAM, memory, somewhere around these. This is probably your RAM here because it's 4. And then this is going to be your SSD. Let's figure this out. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and attempt to install the CPU. I mean the processor. This is an Intel i7. Why? So you see that right there? This is going there. Alright, so it went in pretty easily. You kind of just set it down. Don't try to bend those gold little needles that it has in there, because I've read that it can ruin the processor. On my build, I realized that a lot of the motherboard writing is this way, so I placed it in with the writing going with the way the build is, the motherboard's writing is. So hopefully that works. Alright, hopefully I didn't break it. I felt like it was too much pressure with this little clip here going in and securing the processor. I'm praying I didn't break it. Alright, next we're gonna go ahead and put in our Thermaltake cooler. Now, good thing I bought this, because after doing research I realized that this processor that I bought doesn't come with it. Now, I read that some processors do come with it, but this one, the Intel i7, doesn't for some reason. This is the processor fan. It has LEDs on it, so it's gonna be pretty sick. Bam. Cool, man. Again, with my research, I read a lot, and you need thermal paste, but apparently a lot of the coolers come with thermal paste, and apparently it comes with extra thermal paste, so I don't know if I'm going to have to put some thermal paste on this one. Will I be able to tell if it has thermal paste? I don't think it comes with thermal paste, guys. Apparently no thermal paste comes applied to it, which is weird because I read somewhere that it did. So I'll air up in this thing, man. That's all you need, apparently. I don't know how much thermal paste I need, but oh, no. Alright. Now I'm hoping that when I put the fan on top, it'll smear it around, so I don't have to try to smear it. So it looks like we get this little bracket. Let's install these guys first. these little plastic screws that it comes with. All right, what it's doing here, so this is the bracket that it came with, and it you install these little pins that look like this. You simply put it here, and you try to, you know, you're gonna have to get it into the hole to the motherboard. And then these pins go in that plastic one that you installed there, and from my experience it should probably click. So I'm guessing what you want to do is you want to go ahead and clip it here, and then you pull this little guy all the way back to this little hook right there, and that ain't going nowhere, buddy. That's on there. All right, so now that you got this CPU fan installed, you want to go ahead and connect your fan to this right here, CPU fan. It's labeled on mine. All right, next we're gonna put in the RAM. So we're gonna go ahead and put in the RAM. So from my research online, it looks like you probably want to use to the two black one. There we go. It's in there. So it's kind of easy to install. You just pop this tab, pop this tab, and then it's kind of like that Nintendo 64 cassette games, you know what I mean? Kind of just line it up, drop it in there. And also has this notch here that it only goes in one way, so yeah. And then it takes a little bit of, not too much force, but just enough to get it in there, and should lock up. All right, now we got both in. We don't need that. It's time for the memory, which is supposed to be pretty easy, straightforward. So again, we're going with the Samsung 970 EV, and I only went with 500 gigabytes. You can go with more if you need it. To install the SSD, you have to remove this screw right here, and then it goes in this little slot, so kind of angled in, and then you screw it back on. SSD memory installed, sweet. It's up in there, looking nice. All right, so now we have to get this guy in the case. All right, now what it looks like, your motherboard is installed to these gold little knobs up in there, and we just gotta get the screws. Let's install the motherboard. Now what you want to do is line it up. Okay, so you line it up, make sure it all fits, and you see where the gold screws, make sure they're aligned. Yeah, should be pretty easy to install those. Let's get it going. Again, you want to use the triangle pan, the corner. Gotta make sure you get all the screws in, you know. Alright, so now that we have the motherboard installed, hopefully correctly, now that we got the motherboard installed, we need to install the graphics card. Bam. Alright, and here is the graphic card. Alright, so let's install this bad boy. So what you have to do, you have to remove these two little panels from the back. They're simple screws. You unscrew this part, it slides over, and then you can remove that, and then that should be able to get your game card in there. Alright, and now what you do, you use those same two screws and you screw it on right here and right here. Alright, and there we go, we got it installed, ready to go, starting to come through. Let's get it. Alright, so now we move on to the next step, trying to figure out all this wiring. Alright, so after you get all the cables connected, it took me a while to understand the front panel. I didn't realize that the motherboard came with instructions that told you not exactly, because the case is different from the motherboard, but you get some kind of direction on how to put it. So basically right there is where you have your front panel, and then right here, this is your audio, and then you got your USB, and then this is the chat. This is like all the front panel stuff for the case. They call it a USB 03 or something like that. Then you got your CPU, cooling fan, obviously we did that. And then these fans actually came with this little port here, and it had a double-sided tape. You stick it to the case, and then you plug it into the power source. So it doesn't connect to the motherboard, which was that's what I had difficulty understanding. Basically it would connect here where it says fan. These areas where it says fan, that's where your normal fans would connect. But since it came with the, I think with the hub, that's where it would go. Other than that, I think I got pretty much everything in there. Now, obviously, it's just cable managing, which I think this is about as good as it's gonna get. So all these connections here are kind of obsolete. You can try to use them, but I don't think you need them. So now I was just putting the back panel. I tried to manage the cables as well as possible to look clean on the inside. You know, hopefully we can get the panel on without it struggling so much. You know, it has a little, I guess this is where your internal hard drives would go. And it has, so you can hide some of the wires in there, you know. Now for this setup, for this one, it did have a PCI connection, which connects to the game card or the graphic card, but mine doesn't have that. Mine gets the power source from the motherboard, so you don't need that connection. So also be aware of that. Other than that, let's test it out and hopefully it works. Now before you start putting everything back together, I recommend testing it out and making sure everything starts to work fine in the PC. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. So we're just gonna plug in the power source, flip the switch. All right, so go ahead and click it. There you go, you got LED going on. Look at that, nice. So you got the 3 fans there working, 6 fans total plus the cooling fan. Now what I understood from the case was that you were able to change the color, but it doesn't change when I press the RGB. So I don't know if I misconnected it or something. Hopefully it's working. If not, I mean, it's cool. It's blue, it looks cool. It's a white case, kind of goes with it, so I'm not too mad. Just keep that in mind if you do want to change the colors. Make sure you kind of know how to connect it properly. But as far as the look, I mean, the motherboard is not too big and it just looks clean. Like, not a lot of cables are showing. It's a pretty clean look. It looks like a clean PC build. You know, a few cables. But look at that. Nice. It's loading up. CPU is ramming up at 1000. You see right there, 1000 rams. Gotta make sure you got everything that you put in. So we got the gaming, the motherboard, the Intel processor, 16 gigs of RAM, 500 right there. All right, and now let's close up this thing going on here. Start with the back panel. You gotta make sure these teeth go in those grooves. There we go, you see that? Better. Make sure you get those teeth in there. It has looks like this one has 3 in the bottom, 3 in the top, and 3 in the bottom, right? Putting the tempered glass back on. And there you have it, guys. Full PC built from a beginner. It did take me a little while because, again, like I said, I got stuck on some of the wiring, which I think that's the hardest part. But yeah, it looks pretty clean. I like this build. Again, I'll put all the links in the bottom just in case you guys want to go ahead and get some of these products. And make sure to go ahead and comment down below. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And leave a like, man. Smash that like button. And please also have a creator code. Make sure to go ahead and go into that Epic store and plug in my creator code SPRJDAD. And we'll be seeing you in the next video, and hopefully we can bring out better content with this beast. Hope you guys like it. Let me know if you guys saw anything that I can do or add or whatever, any advice. And yeah, Peace out, guys. Take care.